fun begins.
All right.
Yes, Texas is a rival.
Rolling.
I have a river of Kool-Aid for basketball.
It's time to step inside the Hawg Pen.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into an all-new episode of Inside the Hawg Pen. I have a full house with me tonight, and I did not come alone. Alongside of our wild band of misfits from the NEA Hawg Pen, we got Marcus MC Carlton, and from parts unknown down here on the bottom of the screen, from like Guantanamo Bay, Afghanistan, we've got D-Mad. Boys, how we feeling? How we feeling?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
I know. I know we lost to Alabama, but my God, man, that was a Darius. What do we say about Darius Acuff real quick before we get?
Well, I gotta stop you right there. Blow the whistle. That's another foul on Arkansas.
I knew that was coming. But want to introduce our guest tonight. He's come back because he's got some big time news. Not only did he change names, but he's got some pretty big stuff happening. He was once known as the Pig Pen Collective. He's now known as Choose Arkansas, the one, the only Payton Dunn coming in. What's up, Payton?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me again.
Dude, okay, so you got some like big things going on, but first off, tell me about the name change, man. We got to know about this because you kind of went from jogging to straight up sprinting now.
Right. So I met my business partner in David Smith. It was clear that with the NIL Go rules and regulations, which I have them, I can share them with you if you'd love to read them, but you can't be closely associated with one school, so we had to go across the state. We're going to keep it in state. And we just made the business plan like a bigger focus on, creating Arkansas business, creating tax dollars in the state, keeping it all in the state, and just building our local economy as we build up our local teams and, try to compete for a national title for the Razorbacks.
Something that apparently we're not set up for.
With Payton over here, we're getting closer.
We're in better shape than we were.
We're in a lot better shape than what we were. So tell me about the. I mean, there's some big things that have happened, and you've got one big announcement that we're going to save for just a few minutes because holy crap, dude! When you told me that, I was over the moon. But from the last time you were on till now, you've done some pretty big things besides just changing the name.
Right. We've signed, I think we're about to be at 32 football players.
Nice.
We got another, I would say we've got another like 8 at the U of A. We got one baseball player, they're in season, so it's a little bit harder to get them. Basketball in season. We don't really want to add a distraction or add stuff to them. It's like, hey, when you're available, we'll come get you. But a lot of female athletes able to help across that sport. There was an Olympian on the female track team who went to the Paris Olympics and ran, right? She's setting NCAA records, and she couldn't get an NIL deal. So it's like, hey, we'll help you out. We'll do what we can with you. And then overall, we're just trying to get partnerships with national brands, trying to grow our product to better help every school. We're meeting with Sarah Huckabee Sanders at some point to talk over some regulation stuff to try to help the state. And we're going to slowly implement it to where, we help out the high schools and make sure the high school kids know what they're getting into before they jump into the space.
Oh, wow.
Smart.
Wow. That's impressive.
That's huge. That's huge.
So for the people that may not be as familiar with this as we all are, because we're up on what you do, we keep up with it. But if I was going to explain this to a casual fan that just kind of, he's not a diehard, he's not a psycho like all of us are, what would be the easy way to explain this?
Yeah, so we, NIL's here, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
As a fan, we want to give you the ability to become a member, and you can feel like you're still a part of the team. You're getting priced out by everything nowadays, seat realignments, concession prices going up, and that's because now schools have to raise an additional $20.5 million to pay the players, right? So we're that other thing, right? So think of it as, you're in the NFL, every NFL team has a salary cap, but there's a clear difference of where people want to play. Like if I'm in the NFL, I want to go to Dallas because if I'm a Cowboy, I know I'm going to get all those TV deals and all the other deals, right? But if you go play in a small market like Green Bay, you're not going to get that. So we're trying to make Arkansas a targeted destination and have a whole nother pot of money through businesses and fans that will put an Arkansas player on every commercial in the state, every billboard in the state, every truck in the state, just advertising our kids to have that lucrative opportunity. If you come here to play with the Hogs, we're going to build your personal brand up and we're going to make you a name person,
I like it. And I feel like this is more in line with what NIL is supposed to be, rather than the craziness that it has gone to, nationwide. I mean, this is more in line, trying to put Arkansas businesses in line with Arkansas players. That to me feels like the pure form, if there is such a thing, the pure form of what NIL was intended to be.
Correct.
So
heavy
like
quotation marks on pure.
Yes, heavy, and I mean you could even throw quite a bit of sarcasm in there as well, because we're about to the point where there's nothing pure left. But what you guys are doing is pretty awesome, and I love that you guys are doing this, because obviously it wasn't going to get done any other way if it didn't go grassroots.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, what you got? What you got, man? Because I've thrown my stuff out there. What you got?
I was waiting for Payton's response. No, I need to make a comment real quick. He said go to Dallas and get all these TV deals, but the one thing you won't get in Dallas is a damn ring.
Okay, all right.
Hey, look, I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm a realist. All right.
Oh,
yeah. We don't hold that against Zach, but he is
driving it too. It's like with the MLB, you have Moneyball with the Oakland A's. It's all a bunch of salary cap issues. You have the Oakland A's over here playing with a fraction of what the are playing with. So it's like we're having to do our part in trying to build up, for lack of a better word, the Oakland A's, when you have LSU like the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, I think NIL is the great equalizer in that. It's that I think everybody can play at the same level. It just depends how much of that 20.5 is going to football versus getting spread out to other sports. But if you don't, I know there's a lot of colleges out there, because I talked to other people in the space that are just going to stick with that 20.5. This next season's pretty big, and if teams struggle that stick with that, then we're going to really see more of a push into the stuff we're doing nationwide.
Payton, how has the University of Arkansas kind of responded to your initiative?
I would say, when you say University of Arkansas, that's a very broad term, right? Mm-hmm. You have the athletic department, you have the foundation, it's so spread out. There's been some very welcoming parts, and then some we just kind of have to take the relationship for what it is and just kind of go from there.
Okay, let me kind of narrow it down for you then. We have an athletic director, obviously, that is totally, completely, 100% against the NIL.
How good has the athletic department been to you in this whole situation? Have they been very receptive to you, or have they been a little standoffish?
Well, we're kind of here doing our thing in our space when we work together, how we have to work together. That's all I'm going to say over the situation, because I am a president of a company.
Yeah, you have to be careful and kind of go with a little coach speak, but
right.
I totally get that. But my thing is, as long as they are not hindering your process, I think most fans are going to be okay. I mean, I personally have a lot of feelings about the way NIL has been handled. I mean, I'm not gonna go into it here, because that's not fair to you to kind of say all this in front of you, just to because you can't really react the way you want. So I get that, and I'm not going to say anything. But I think as long as they are not putting obstacles in your way, then I think it's just one of those business relationships you take and you make the best of it. Make lemonade, so to speak, if you will.
Right. And there's the things that Payton Dunn, president of Choose Arkansas, says, and Payton Dunn, the fan in Arkansas, says.
Yes.
But I was just go ahead.
Go ahead, Peyton. MC D-Matt had to drop. He can't hear you or me. That's why he.
Okay.
No, Peyton, I was going to ask you. We've got an athletic director that's completely against NIL. Have you had? And again, you can answer this business talk. You don't have to be all, forthcoming about it unless you want to. Have you had conversations with him, and how is his approach to what you're doing in regards to the university? Is what I was going to ask.
I've personally never met Hunter Yurachek, nor ever had a conversation with him.
Okay.
What, for the most part, when you talk to the diehard fans, I consider us diehards. We schedule our lives around ball games. We make it up there when we can. What's been the overall reception from the fan base?
I think it's like I try to put videos out on my personal Instagram and Facebook to try to combat a lot of miscommunication about NIL, because they think I think NIL is two different pots. You have rev share, and then you have like what we're trying to do, right? That's supposed to be the traditional. Like, we're not, like, the players have to go out and earn what we're doing. If they're not receptive to it, they're not going to get it. But it has to make business sense too. But I'd say it's like, I think what we're doing is a long-term fix to the university. This is going to be around for our kids, and this makes the state better. It's like, some of us are going to have kids that go on to play college ball, but they might not be good enough for the university. Well, we still have a system that's going to be there for all the other colleges in the state, right? The main focus is the University of Arkansas, but, we can spread it across the state. So I think the diehard fans have really been a part of it. But I think if they, it's just a little bit of miscommunication on some things, trying to get them to, understand the mission, or they're kind of burnt out on NIL. We're at our third one now as an official, and then we're kind of like the fourth one. So I don't blame them either, because, again, there's the Payton Dunn, the fan, and I understand the exact feelings they have.
100%. As a fan, I get the whole fatigue thing as well, because it's just like like you said. You said it about as good as it can be said. I can't really add anything to it.
Yeah, as far from a fan perspective like me, I'm so tired of hearing about NIL and how the fans have to contribute, and we're not where we need to be because the fans aren't contributing. Well, here's the problem, and we've said this how many times on the show, MC?
Yeah.
Fans don't want to contribute to a losing program. It all starts at the top, and it all trickles down. So that being said, and I want to go ahead and put you in the spotlight, Peyton, because you've got a big announcement. You signed somebody that's really, really big, and I've been sitting on it for a little bit now, and I'm just take it away, because I will say this, and this is my only time you may have to bleep me, MC, but holy shit.
Yeah, so, we reached out to Darren's agents. We got it set up, and, we threw a plan out there that we thought would be best to represent him and represent the state, and we thought there's no bigger name in the state. So it's like, we're going to go for the home run immediately. We're going to go get Darren, because Darren can bring in everybody else. We want the alumni to be a part of this, because this is our thing. We are Arkansans. Like, I want people to feel like they have ownership over what we're doing. So we're going to have a whole clothing line for them. We're going to release those, probably every 2 weeks. We'll drop some more. We have some pretty sick designs. It's still going through the process. We're going to try to get him to come to an event. He can do some shows, but again, he's got his own life. But we got to talk to him the other day, and he's 100% behind us. Like, he loves Arkansas. He loves that we're at other schools. He wants to build he's from Little Rock, right? He wants to build the state up. So he understands, the desire and the passion that the fans have in allowing us to, have that avenue to express our fandom and be able to feel like we can contribute.
Well, and to get, like, I don't know that there is a bigger name that you could have signed than Mr. 501 boy himself, Darren McFadden. And you get him behind you, suddenly that adds, this is going to sound bad, but I think you're going to understand where I'm going. That adds a level of credibility immediately
Yes.
that, I don't know could have been accomplished outside of that.
Correct. And that, as president of the company, right, I sit down every day, I use AI as a tool, and I'm like,
Right.
okay, if Choose Arkansas does this, how would you rate it out of 10? Like Darren's was a 9 to a 10 out of 10, right? So I look at tools to get us credibility, because at the end of the day, like I haven't been in this space that long. People don't know who me and my business are per se personally. So we have to
Right.
earn the credibility. And you're going to see that through, how many players we sign, what deals we get them, the business decisions we make in partnerships with the space. We're trying to go out and, have everything that any other NIL company could offer in this state and more.
Now that you've signed DMAD, Payton, and you've kind of readjusted. Well, I say readjusted, but the name change and everything else. What other and again, what other names are you going to try to go after? If you can hint at any. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But now that you've got DMAT, I mean, you've got the legend. What's gonna stop you from going after other high priority, high ranking? I'm still on the
Other legends. I mean,
Yeah.
you just call it that. You can just call it other legends.
Right. So, I thought about pairing him and Sutton Smith up in a couple things, because he's wearing number 5 this year. But the beauty of being Choose Arkansas, when I think of what's the best, biggest name, Cordless, he's coaching, right? He don't really have time. There's a problem with current players, because if we want to make a merchandise line, the NBA or whoever has, their marketing authority, so we can't really make clothes or anything. And that's how we can kind of make the money back on the back end. But I think of Derek Fisher. I mean, he's another Little Rock guy, played at Euler. He's got national attention. He's an NBA champion. And I think he would just help the Razorbacks as much as he would Euler. And then you could go, I don't know how, plausible it is, but, a Scottie Pippen, we got bigger guys in the state that
Pippen might. Another name you could probably go after is MC, help me out.
I don't know where you're going.
UAPB.
Torrey Hunter.
That's the one, Torrey Hunter.
Yeah, and he already does. He does so much for UAPB baseball right now.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get him when the offseason comes. They're kind of like, we signed some of their guys. I've talked to their coach. Their coach was a millionaire himself. He's a pretty successful businessman. So I talked over there, and I think in the offseason we'll be able to, probably bring them in and do some pretty cool things with him. But again, it's like, we're not just tied down to the Arkansas alumni box, right? We can do the whole state. We can go get Austin Reeves if we wanted to, because he's an Arkansan and we choose Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, our box is endless of people we can pull out.
I mean, it's, you start thinking about just some of the people that are native Arkansans, or, not necessarily went to be a Razorback, but you think about guys like Austin Reeves that are out there, and it's just like, okay, there's a lot of possibilities here, a lot of stones that could be, overturned, and who knows where it could take you from there.
Well, and Peyton, the other thing too is with covering the whole state, you don't have to just do, and this is the cool part that I've learned, watching your stuff. You don't actually have to stick with just players. You can go with coaches and just legends themselves. Not just former players or active players. You can go coaches. You can go assistants. And that's the cool part about it. You could go to Norm DeBryan if you wanted to. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. We're just, we're signing DMAX, seeing how that goes, and then we'll go from there, and kind of still growing everything out.
So
this is awesome. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it other than this is just awesome. And the fact that this has come from a grassroots effort from fans, because you mentioned yourself, there's Payton Dunn, the president, and then there's Payton Dunn, the fan. The fan had to have the idea before Payton Dunn president could exist. And to me, I tip my hat to you, man, because this is just awesome.
Thank you. And I'll say, the thing we need, from fans right now having DMAC is we have the DMAC club. It's
Right.
$5 a month, which, we have a new processor because we went with an Arkansas company to take our money transactions now instead of letting a national company do it. They're called Smart Change, but
Mhm.
they can't do they can't do weekly transactions. They're only monthly. So it's like, okay, $5 a month instead of $1 a week. Um, and that kind of gets you in the door. You'll get
Mhm.
first dibs on like the clothing line. You're going to get a pretty cool car decal to go on the back of your car that has DMAC on it, the state of Arkansas, and
Nice.
choose Arkansas across the chest. Um, we just want everyone to have an opportunity to be a part of this. It takes
Yeah.
every fan. It takes an army.
Well, and you mentioned this earlier, but I want to go back and hit on the connection that this is kind of bringing back in with the fan, because I'm old enough to remember when you could get attached to players because you knew they were going to be there 2, 3, 4 years, and now it's changed a little bit. But this is a way to go ahead and connect to the program. No matter what name is on the back, you're connecting to the name on the front, and it's always going to be you're going to have your connection to Razorback, and or if you're a Pine Bluff guy, you could be connected to Pine Bluff. I love it. I mean, I know I sound like a broken record, but now that I know a little more about it, I mean, this is a heck of a deal, man.
Right. And, people say, like, people were confused at first with, all the other schools,
Hmm.
but it's like they're all separate accounts. You go to the website, it's very clear who you're donating to and where your money's going. And we can show you because we've signed a crap ton of players, right? So you
Yeah.
can see where a majority of the funds are coming in at.
Right.
But, I graduated from Harding. I didn't have the luxury of going to the U of A. Like, I chose, what was best for me in my situation. And I started my career as a college athlete at Lyon College. COVID happened and ROTC took me to Harding. And that's where I graduated. So for me, I got the luxury of going to college. A lot of Arkansans don't get to do that, right?
Right.
The military paid for my ride. I wouldn't have got to college without it. But it's like then there's the people in Arkansas that are fans that don't go to college. So it's almost like when you bring that up, it's like how many fans didn't go to college, but you're still very passionate. But
Yeah.
you could live in another community where you could support both at the same time, right? So I feel like there's a lot of people like me where okay, if Harding's an option, I'll give $20 to them while also putting a membership in the Hogs too.
Hmm.
So I think it's just something that just helps the whole state out. And again, with the kids thing, it's like your kid might be playing at one school, but you're a fan of another school, and so on.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the choosearkansas.org page. I went and clicked on the join now. And I think you hit on this a little bit earlier. There's a general fund, but then you can also choose to donate directly to a specific sport. So like for Arkansas, you've got football, men's basketball, baseball, women's sports, Olympic sports, the U of A club sports, the cheer and dance team. I think that's really cool because a lot of times cheer and dance, I know they don't get their just due, and for them to be right here, and then the band as well. I mean, this is you can split it up however you want to do it with your money.
Yeah, like a lot of the cheer and dance and band. You got to think of it as like in this new world of college sports, all that
Yeah.
money that used to go to scholarships for the other teams is getting pulled. All
Right.
those funds are getting you got to financially commit to one. So any way we can help alleviate that, there's a lot of parents that reach out and like, if I could just donate, well, here you go. Here's an option. We'll go get the band team to do a whole commercial like Regions used to do, and the band's playing in the background.
Yeah.
For whoever,
Yeah.
So there's a lot you could do. And that one, the club sports and the cheerleading and dance and the
Hmm.
band, you don't have to have the paperwork that the student athletes who are considered student athletes by the NCAA have. And, it's so much easier to get stuff actioned with them.
Well, and I defaulted to Arkansas because that's the first one there, and we are inside the hog pen. But as I scroll down here, you've got A State, you've got Little Rock, you've got UCA, UA Pine Bluff, and then I like this one at the very bottom here. Choose Arkansas support operational costs, because doing all this does cost money as well.
DMAG wasn't free,
Yeah, exactly.
Making these
Yeah.
shirts aren't free, We want to bring the kids, to your local communities, but it costs money. Like none of
Yeah.
these deals are free.
Right.
So and to be competitive, we need more money. And I'm out raising money all the time, asking for big donors. So
I think it's great, man. This is awesome.
Absolutely.
This effort you guys are doing. I mean, this is just A plus, and hopefully somebody will see this and go to choosearkansas.org/join now. That's where you got to go.
Yep.
It looks, I'm looking at it right here, man. It's simple 3-step process. You pick who you want, select what program you want to donate to, and then click the donate button. That's it. That's all there is to it. So what are y'all waiting on? We need to all go do this. I'm probably going to do this as soon as we finish wrapping up on our show here. I'm up here in my little studio at my house, and I got my wallet up here. So guess what? I'm probably going to be signing up shortly.
That's what I love to hear.
We're going to continue our conversation with Payton, but I'm going to have him take his CEO hat off and put his fan hat on, because holy crap, did we just go through a double overtime game against Alabama, which we unfortunately ran out of gas on. We're going to break it all
players.
down. We're going to break it all down, and we're going to see how MC feels about it on MC School of Hog Hoops. Coming up on Inside the Hog Pen right after this.
Attention Razorback fans and local businesses. Are you ready to reach the most passionate Arkansas sports fans out there? Introducing Inside the Hog Pen, not your normal Razorback talk show. We're fans first and don't try to hide it. No agendas, no propaganda. At Inside the Hog Pen, we call it like we see it. And now we're looking for sponsors to join the team. This is your chance to put your brand in front of thousands of loyal Razorback fans who live and breathe Arkansas sports. From small businesses to major brands, we have sponsorship packages tailored just for you. So let's grow together and make Inside the Hog Pen bigger and better. Don't miss out. Call 501-416-4331 or email us today at insidethehogpen@gmail.com and become a proud sponsor of Inside the Hog Pen.
All right, welcome back Inside the Hog Pen. Payton Dunn.
It's done.
It's done. I don't know why I said it that way.
I'm done with your pronunciation of my last name.
Yeah, it is. Look, that game took a lot out of me. So, and it's been a long day at work too. So I apologize about that. But CEO of Choose Arkansas, good friend of the show, and I'm gonna have him take his CEO hat off now, Payton. And I gotta ask you, did you watch the game against Alabama?
Oh, I watched that game. My girlfriend's mad I watched that game because it kept going on. I'm like, it's free basketball, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
I think I heard Jimmy Dykes or the guy that was with him say 2 hours and 47 minutes.
Yeah, that was a long basketball. I mean, it took up the entire first half of the BYU-Arizona game.
Yeah, well, that's only fitting because finally somebody else's game has to go start on the Ocho instead of our game. So
Exactly. Exactly. But problem is we ran out of players, ran out of gas, and I'm just going to say it. Alabama basketball is up there with anything Texas now. They're just – Nate Oates, he's got that face kind of like Mark Pope. He might be cool, but we just want to punch him right in the face.
I mean, he's a complete dirtbag too.
Yeah.
Like they openly cheated this year.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna act like those games don't get swept under the rug. Like,
and they still couldn't win all their games. They had a pro on their team who was up for G League All-Star team voting, and they still didn't win all their games that he played in. So
and then he went and like just instead of just owning it, like, yeah, I cheated. I got a booster who was an attorney to do this, indictment for me. He was just going to complain and call out all the other refs. And it's like let's not talk about 2 years ago when he had a murderer on his roster.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
know.
I can't stand this guy.
Yeah. It's funny because before Cal became our coach, Cal was kind of the guy that all the Arkansas fans like, God, I can't stand this guy. We found the replacement now. The replacement is Nate Oates.
Yes.
And it's conference wide. I don't think anybody outside of Alabama likes him.
I don't even think Alabama really likes him. It's just he wins,
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, he's an a-hole, but he's our a-hole. I mean, it's kind of like the way people looked at Bobby Petrino when he was here the first time around. It's like, he's an asshole, but he's our asshole. So it's
kind of how we look at me or D-Mad sometimes.
But that one really bothers me tonight. I would like to see a rematch with us at full strength in Nashville, because I think you're going to have a different outcome. And
what happened to Carter Knox? Why did he? What injury did he?
His knee.
His knee. Yeah.
I got you.
He definitely retweaked it in the last game too.
Who's the other one that we had that was out? I forget.
Isaiah
was tough.
What was up with Sealy? What did he get hurt in practice or something?
It would have had to been. I don't know the exact issue.
Yeah, because I never heard anything about that, and then I look at the injury report prior to the game, and it's like, oh wow, Seeley's out too. I mean, and then I hate to be that guy, but you got to bring it up in this case. 32 attempted free throws for Alabama, 16 attempted free throws for Arkansas. And it's not like Arkansas was just settling for jump shots all night. I mean, there was a lot of times that we were driving to the hole. There was contact. There was no call. But it is what it is. I mean, you still had opportunities. You got to make the best of them. But guys, can we just talk about Darius Acuff? I mean,
Dude,
I've never seen anything like this dude.
49 points. He was averaging a point a minute.
Yeah, and he never came out of the game either. That's what's even more insane to me is that he played all of regulation, all of both of the overtimes, never came out of the game, and still was this close to tying it up and forcing a third overtime.
There was an 8-minute period in the game where I was
Yeah.
mad at him because we're in the second half. We had the lead and we just crapped it away, and he wouldn't drive in or attempt a shot. He was just standing there trying to facilitate. And I'm like, go, and it's like he could have had 100 in this game.
But I think that was him, saying, "Hey, I'm out of gas. These other guys got to step up."
Yeah, I think now that we see what he did, because we had that 7-8 minute stretch, whatever it was, but then the last 3 minutes of regulation, he put up 12 points. Yeah. So, I mean, the guy's just unreal. There's been all this talk back and forth about is he the greatest to ever suit up at the point guard position?
Yes,
I'm beginning to think he might be the best to ever suit up at all, because what he's doing is he's doing things as a freshman that Todd Day and Sidney Moncrief did not do as 4-year seniors, and that Corliss did not do as a 3-year guy. I mean, it's just unreal the maturity level he plays with, the IQ that he has in the game, the way that he can take over a game at any point. And I mean, it's unbelievable.
But think about it this way, okay? He's already set the record for most points in an SEC game in Arkansas history.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to say coming into the game, he was either tied or like 2 points behind Scotty Thurman.
He did 11 points to break Scotty Thurman's record, so he had that before the first media timeout.
I was going to say he had that before. Yeah, he had that before the under 15 timeout. But he's also on track to win another 8 SEC Player of the Week.
They've given him all the Freshman of the Weeks enough times that he broke the record, but he has yet to get a single overall Player of the Week, which to me is just criminal at this point.
How do you not give it to him after this performance, though?
Well, because they didn't win the game. So, but if Arkansas, let's say he goes down Saturday, I believe we play Florida Saturday. So if we go to Florida Saturday, Arkansas wins that game, and let's say he has an off night and just puts up 25. Yeah, that's an off night for him. I don't know how you cannot make him Player of the Week after the 49-point double overtime game, and then if they happen to go down and beat Florida, then you have to at that point.
No, I mean, I think he's a lock for Player of the Week because it's like everybody knew Arkansas was the better team in that game. You had 7 dudes. You're on the road. You're not even favored to win, and you lose by 1 in double overtime, and you have 3 actual players out there, that actually have minutes, and you're already down to 7 dudes. And Acuff's, he's doing it all, and he's on pace to be the most points in a single season, most assists in a single season. He's, I think, undoubtedly the best Razorback player to ever put a uniform on.
I think he has to be, and I know, and I'm the old head of our bunch, but the old heads that are older than me are going to default to either Sidney Moncrief or maybe Todd Day or maybe even Corliss. But I don't know that that's a fair comparison because the game is so different now from when those guys played. Well, plus, you're looking at this time last year, this dude was playing high school ball. I mean, he was wrecking high schools at this point last year, and he comes in and he looks like a man amongst boys out there. He looks like a 16-year-old kid playing against a bunch of peewee guys at times just because of the way he takes over a game.
Well, but you also got to think, too, okay? Again, you're a little bit older than me.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. And, of course, like we do here, D-Mad's younger than me. Peyton, I'm assuming you're younger than me. I'm almost 40.
He's almost over that hill with me.
Shut up, D. Shut up. You're okay. So your time frame is the golden era of Arkansas basketball. Eddie Sutton,
Nolan more so than Eddie. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mine is all Nolan and the Dark Ages. John Elfrey, Stan Heath, Mike Anderson, Eric Musselman, and now John Calipari.
Yeah.
Your best player opinion and my best player opinion could be totally different from Peyton.
Yeah.
Because you could go further back to like Sidney Moncrief or.
Well, no, I don't go that far back.
No, but you could if you wanted to.
I mean, you can go shout out War Machine. You can go look at all his highlights and stuff because he's got some good Moncrief stuff out there.
But my point is, like you had said, the game has changed so much that everybody keeps comparing this 94 team. The game in 94 versus the game in 2024, 25, and 26 is completely different now.
Yeah, it's very difficult to compare these guys at different eras.
You say that, but like I went on. There's a whole page where you can look at all the stats and stuff. That 94 team still has a 3-point record as a team. So it's like before Steph Curry, they were making more.
Right.
In this modern era, you had Isaiah Joe, Mason Jones on the same team, and you still couldn't hit as many threes. But I think the conversation needs to be until the season's over with, because let's be honest, unless they win a national title, he's not going to be the most decorated player in Arkansas history.
That's true. But
he can be the most talented, right? Take accolades away and just look at everybody as an individual. He's going to be number one every time.
Yeah.
Now you throw a national title in there, Final Fours, Player of the Years, what have you, and now it's a different conversation. So is it accolades or talent? We can easily say he's the most talented player to ever touch a basketball.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. And I mean, even at that, I mean, you look at some of the guys that have been through here. I mean, I immediately, as far as like most talented, my mind immediately goes to Joe Johnson. And
I just
think he's. I mean, Acuff. Moses, and that's the thing, man. He is like Moses Moody was the best freshman I'd ever seen play at Arkansas. As a true freshman, he come in. He was the first one and done, and I believe he was SEC Freshman of the Year or Player of the Year, one or the other.
Yeah, he was SEC Freshman of the Year.
He come in, and I mean, Acuff is a shoo-in for that. And at this point, he has to seriously be considered now for the overall Player of the Year in the SEC. I don't think he's going to get it unless he has another 40-point game or maybe a couple more, but he's got to be in the conversation because the things he's doing is just ridiculous.
Yeah, after tonight, he's leading the SEC in points per game and assists per game. Phylon was over him by 0.1, and he outscored Phylon by 11 tonight. But I think we also have to do a little due diligence and put Anthony Black's name in there.
Very true.
Jay will.
Yeah. Black, there were times that year that Black really carried that team. And I go back to that tournament in Maui. I always go back to the Maui version of TB before he had his injury. I mean, that was TB on a different level, but who was setting him up every time he had something? It was Black. And I mean, Black had some killer games of his own as well. And, he's a guy that is, I don't want to say he's forgotten, but he's kind of back in the shadows now with Acuff and Malik Thomas both here now. And then you look at what's coming in next year. I mean, it's like, goodness gracious. I mean, you talk about just reloading, and I got to give Malik Thomas some flowers, even though he fouled out tonight, but the man had 24 points. And if you put him on any other team in the SEC, he's getting the talk that Acuff is getting, but because he plays with Acuff, he's not getting the same amount of pub, which is, it's not really fair to him, but he's killing it as well.
Think about who we were talking about last year with the same kind of, not to the highest level that we're talking about, Acuff, but he's now down at Florida, Boogie Flan.
Yeah, we're going to see Saturday. Saturday's going to be fun. Boogie versus Acuff. That's going to be fun.
Give me Acuff in 3 rounds, Chuck.
Well, and it's wild to me because when Flan came in to Arkansas last year, he was known as an elite scorer. he has really flipped his game now, and I would go so far as to say he's a better defensive player now at Florida than he is an offensive player. He's more of a playmaker. He's not as much of a scorer. He's coming to his own a little bit recently, but his defensive game has really stepped up, and that's to my opinion, that's kind of what's carried him this year.
Yeah, I think we can, not to like completely flip it, but I think to throw it back, the only person to score more points in a game than Acuff is Rodney Clark, and he did it as a freshman in his first game ever, I think, against Alcorn State.
Right.
So that's when I started watching Arkansas basketball, was with Rodney Clark, right?
Yeah.
See, what year? You're an encyclopedia. What year was that? Was that?
I think
With
07.
Clark? Yeah, that's 07 sounds about right.
Oh, okay, 07. I knew it was around sometime there.
It was Pelfrey, and I think Nolan left in 03 or 04. So
Nolan
he got fired in the 01-02 season.
Yeah. He got fired. I remember that because that was.
I was working in media at the time, and we started getting whispers of it that it had happened, and then we reached out to some contacts we had up around Fayetteville. It's like, hey man, is there smoke behind this? And it's like, yeah, it's pretty much a done deal. So, I was floored. I was destroyed. But, that relationship's been restored now, and all is well on that front. But
only thing I'm going to say about that, build the damn statue. Honestly, as a fan, I'm not satisfied with just naming the court after him. Okay? Because Frank's got the field and a statue out front. Why hasn't Nolan?
Why we're going to have to pay for it for him?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. It's almost like you were in my head, man, because I was about to throw a hanging curveball out there for you. It's like, hey, man, is that something maybe Choose Arkansas could get behind, and kind of get behind that effort? But this loss to Alabama, that's a rough one, and you don't really have a lot of time to sit around, as Bubba Carpenter would say, with your poo-poo lip and feel sorry for yourself, because Saturday is just as big of a game, if not bigger.
Well, and I tell you this, we're going to take another break, our last break of the night. On the other side of the break, we're actually going to talk a little baseball because they went down to Globe Life, and I wish D-Mad was here because the one game we dropped was to the one team he didn't want to lose to. But we're going to talk about
the cheaters,
the Omaha's traveling down to Baumwalker South and putting on a clinic in Globe Life Field. You're listening to Inside the Hog Pen with special guest Payton Dunn right after this.
Attention Razorback fans and local businesses. Are you ready to reach the most passionate Arkansas sports fans out there? Introducing Inside the Hog Pen, not your normal Razorback talk show. We're fans first and don't try to hide it. No agendas, no propaganda. At Inside the Hog Pen, we call it like we see it. And now we're looking for sponsors to join the team. This is your chance to put your brand in front of thousands of loyal Razorback fans who live and breathe Arkansas sports. From small businesses to major brands, we have sponsorship packages tailored just for you. So let's grow together and make Inside the Hog Pen bigger and better. Don't miss out. Call 501-416-4331 or email us today at insidethehogpen@gmail.com and become a proud sponsor of Inside the Hog Pen.
All right, welcome back to Inside the Hog Pen. Big thank you to our special guest, CEO of Choose Arkansas, Payton Dunn. Dude's going places, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's
we gotta get in on that, just both individually, but as we gotta get a brand team up here because
there you go.
I'm cooking in the lab up here, so to speak, as MC would say.
Well, and I have to correct myself because I'm jumping ahead. The Florida game is actually not till next Saturday. I had it as this Saturday, but this Saturday we're back home. We're back home in the friendly confines of Bud Walton Arena to take on the Missouri Tigers.
It ain't friendly if you were watching that Kentucky game a couple weeks ago.
Well, I mean, it was, Bud Walton did their part. Is just but I'll say this. You take this team tonight and put them in that Kentucky game, and they beat Kentucky by 30.
Oh God, they blow Kentucky out. But let's switch gears real quick, MC.
All right.
Of course, baseball season underway, and just like the Omaha's do, just like DVH does, they don't disappoint when they go down to Globe Life.
Yeah.
And a 750 winning percentage at Globe Life Field.
3 out of 4, man. You're gonna have a lot of success. You win 3 out of 4.
22,000 Razorback fans packed into that stadium, man. And here's the thing. The capacity to that stadium is only like 33,000.
Yeah, and they closed off. I had some family that went. They closed off the upper levels, so the only thing that was open was around the bottom level behind home plate, and then like the first level of the outfield. Because if you noticed, the first home run that Ryder Helfrich hit, there were not very many fans at all. So they had that second level open, but the third level, the upper level, was completely closed off. So I mean, hey. DFW, man, DFW area always turns out for Arkansas, no matter the sport. It was always packed at Jerry World when we were playing football there. There was always a ton there. Earlier this year when the Hogs went down to play Texas Tech at American Airlines Arena, I mean, that was Bud Walton South, man.
Yeah, it was. One of the things, though, that I noticed, too, is, and I will say this, we did not carry, and I apologize to our fans, we were supposed to carry the games, but our schedules couldn't line up, and so we decided not to carry them this year.
Yeah.
But from what I was told and the clips that I've seen, Flow Sports actually has kind of upgraded their stuff.
I was able to find a unofficial feed, shall we say, and keep up with I guess it was the first 2 games. The Texas Tech game, I was audio only, but the first 2 games I got to watch most of those, and Flow Sports has come a long way. I will say they've still got some work to do on a few things, but from a production standpoint, it was better than previous years. So, they're at least moving in the right direction.
They've got, and of course, Tarleton State was Monday, and a completely different. And this is the thing, that Tarleton State game was a completely different series than what they had played over the weekend. And so they essentially played 2 tournaments at Globe Life back to back.
Well, and you also had, in true midweek fashion, you had a bunch of guys that played on Monday that are normally not going to get to play on the weekends, and that's what Dave's done ever since he's been there. He brings his freshmen out there and lets them kind of get their feet wet, so to speak, on these midweek games. But you got to throw a shout out to Payton Lee for the way he pitched in that Tarleton State game.
Yeah, and then, of course, Helfrich, dude, he's not – okay, Arkansas is known for baseball.
Right.
But we may end up becoming catchers U before too long.
You got
the Opitz from a couple years ago.
You go further back, go James McCann.
Yeah.
And then Michael Turner, the infamous rental player.
So, I mean –
yeah.
You've got this team, and we've said it leading up to the season. This may be the season that we finally get a title because it was lining up.
And I'm going to say this, Arkansas drops the middle game, the Saturday game to TCU 5-4. The bats were not there that night. I mean, I think we were 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position and 1 for 19 with runners on base at all. Did I get worked up about it? In the moment, yes. But as soon as that game was over, I'm like, look, the second game of the year, it's February. You're still working out kinks. Guys are still trying to figure themselves out. You take your bright spots from it. You take your Helfrich, you take your Cam Kozel, the Ruiz kid.
Oh my God, that
is a leadoff. Yeah, I mean, we have a leadoff hitter. He's going to be leadoff this year.
The thing is, we got a true leadoff hitter now.
Yes, he's a guy, and he's a bit of a throwback because as long as he gets on base, he's going to end up at third because he's going to steal his way over because he's a throwback to like a 1980s St. Louis Cardinal type player, or maybe like a Ricky Henderson or someone like that. He's not that caliber of a Ricky Henderson.
Or you just like threw it way back.
Yeah. But that's the guys that come to mind are the guys that if you got them, a walk for them was as good as a triple because they were going to steal their way over to third. Right. Ruiz is kind of shaping up to be that guy. He's just the guy that gets on base. What's the scene from Moneyline where they're sitting there in the big chart and it's like, what's the deal with this guy? It's like, he just gets on base. Yeah, that's all it is,
And that's the thing is and of course, this Friday, home opener at Baum Walker. Xavier,
Xavier, yeah.
They're coming to town. I mean, this is going to be a fun ball club to watch all season long.
Yeah.
But listen, and I know I said it during football, but it's football. All right, it's football.
And baseball is just a completely different beast from anything else.
I'm not saying it during basketball because it ain't true, but you're gonna drop some. All right, it's not the end of the world. This is my yearly reminder, MC.
Yeah.
To tell the fan base, and this is probably one of the few things I actually do know about baseball, is they don't do it on wins and losses single game. They do it how many series did you? All right.
Well, and people.
They're not going to blow everybody out by run rule.
Right.
We want that. Trust me. And those are fun. But you're going to drop a couple. It's okay.
And it would not surprise me in the least if they don't drop a game to Xavier. Xavier is going to come in here. They are a sneaky good team. Their opening weekend was at East Carolina. A team that's, pretty much a perennial. I don't know that they're a powerhouse, but they're always in the mix for to at least be in a regional, if not make a super regional. Most time they host, so they're one of those teams that's always pretty good. And Xavier is out of Ohio.
Really?
But Xavier went over and I believe they took 2 of 3 from East Carolina in the opening weekend.
Oh, wow.
So this is not a Bucknell type of opener like what Arkansas had a couple years ago where they, won like 32-3 or something.
Right.
So Xavier's going to come here. They're going to play hard. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. And then after that, you got 2 midweek games against Arkansas State. And I've seen them play a couple times. And let me tell you, Mike Silva is turning things around over there. And they will present a challenge as well because they went down to Ole Miss, lost 8-7, I believe, in a midweek game.
That was a good game, though. I mean, I saw highlights from that the other day.
They can put runs on the board. They've got good pitching, and Silva's a heck of a coach, man, and he's going to get them rolling as well. But the good thing is you've got like 18 games in a row at home before you go back on the road. We don't go back on the road until March 20th.
Whew.
So your first, 5 or 6 series are at home.
I'll probably be on mini vacation that weekend.
So and that's, you go to South Carolina there. So you go out for a series and then you immediately come back home for 6 or 7 more. Totally did not mean to do that, but I did. My youngest would be losing his mind right now. But that's the way the baseball season is going to start. You got to look. Some of these bats, you want to wake up. And Dave was not playing around after the series or the Shriners Children showdown, and then the game against Tarleton, because he was pretty hot. Even though they won that game against Tarleton on Monday, he said, we've got some guys that are either going to have to buy in or they're going to get to come hang out with me in the dugout for a while, and I'm going to put somebody else out there. So,
and again, these first couple of games, he's going to be playing with a lineup. One thing I did see was the batting order pretty much stayed consistent, and that's a good thing. But like I said, baseball season's just now underway. We got a long way to June.
Yep.
Yes, we're going to end it in June.
Yep.
I'm calling my shot now.
They're not going to break our hearts until we get to Omaha again. So
they're going to do great, and then we're going to get to Omaha, and it's going to be the same vicious.
But I mean,
all over again.
It's kind of like. With to flip back to basketball for just a second, I mean, it's just like, here's a big moment. What's going to happen? Oh, we're going to come up just short. Yeah.
Yep. But final thoughts as we get out of here, MC?
No time to pout over the Alabama loss. That's a hard one to swallow because you played so hard. You had some guys play so good. You got to put it behind you because now you're in like a 4-way tie with Alabama, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas all have the same amount of losses now. So
it's gonna be fun to watch these next couple of weeks coming into March.
Yeah, the February frenzy going to lead us right into the March Madness.
Yep, it's going to be fun. We are just weeks away from March Madness now. So
yeah,
y'all reach up there and tighten them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tinfoil hats.
It's time, man. It's time.
About to get crazy. We're ordering a 5-point harness for MC. But for Marcus, MC Carlton, Dylan, D-Mad Madden, I'm Razorback Zach. Big thank you once again to Payton Dunn of Choose Arkansas. Get out there and help this homegrown NIL This is not your average NIL thing. This is grassroots. Yeah. It's from here. It's from the state of Arkansas for the state of Arkansas.
Yep.
Very easy. ChooseArkansas.org. Go out there and spend a little dough. All right. Spend a little
$5 a month, man.
$5. All right. $10
a month, not $5 a day. $5 a month.
You know, we're not going to be. You're not going to log on to the website and hear Sarah McLaughlin. I promise. But do what you got to do to help out the program. I'm sure me and MC are both going to do our parts. But until next time, same Hawg time, same Hawg channel. I'm Razorback Zach. Thank you for watching another episode of Inside the Hawg Pen. Until next time, so long, everybody.
Thanks for watching this episode of Inside the Hawg Pen. Listen anytime on your favorite podcast provider. And be sure to follow us on all our social network channels.